Let me tell you something that might surprise you. The journey of healing can feel like your whole world is falling apart. There comes a point, usually when no one else can see it happening, where a person makes the choice to stop avoiding their emotional pain. Instead of pushing it down with busy schedules, romantic relationships, or endless work hours, they decide to actually experience what they've been running from. That decision changes everything. When you start this process, you begin to see things clearly for the first time. You notice how your body and mind react to simple, everyday situations. You realize that all this time, you've just been getting by, not really living your life to the fullest. But here, it's where things get weird. Just as you regrowing emotionally and spiritually, just as your energy is getting stronger, your money situation starts getting worse. Job opportunities disappear, income drops, cash becomes harder and harder to come by. This doesn't make any logical sense. You becoming more aware of yourself. You putting in the hard work to heal old wounds. Life should be getting easier, right? Money should be flowing more freely. But the opposite happens. It's like financial success just walks away from you completely. What is going on here? That is exactly what we're going to figure out together. Stick around because we're not just going to talk about what is happening. We're going to dig into why it happens. Once you understand the real reasons behind this pattern, you'll discover a part of yourself that's been secretly preventing abundance from entering your life this entire time. This goes much deeper than learning how to budget or working harder for success. Carl Jung, the famous psychologist, once made an important observation. He said that until you become aware of what is hidden in your unconscious mind, those hidden things will control your life, and you think it's just bad luck or destiny. That statement is the foundation of everything we're about to explore. Let me help you picture this scenario. Think about a young child who constantly watches their parents worry about money. The child sees arguments about spending, fear about not having enough, maybe even embarrassment about their financial situation. This child doesn't associate money with happiness or freedom. Instead, money becomes connected to stress, fighting, and uncertainty. 20 years pass. That same child is now a grown adult who is working on healing themselves. Maybe they going to therapy sessions, exploring spiritual practices, or doing other personal growth work. They starting to understand what triggers their emotions. They dealing with painful childhood memories, and they trying to reconnect with who they really are inside. But buried deep in their subconscious mind, what Jung called the shadow, money still represents danger and fear. So what happens? Their nervous system kicks into protection mode. It creates roadblocks, causes self-sabotage, and makes them avoid financial opportunities. Meanwhile, their conscious mind is trying to attract wealth, create budgets, or build a business. This is the strange contradiction between healing and money. You become more self-aware, but that awareness forces you to face difficult truths. You have to confront all the unconscious agreements you made just to survive, including beliefs like, money isn't safe for me, or if I become wealthy, I'll turn into someone who hurts others. This isn't just about psychology. It's like a battle between who you used to be and who you becoming. Jung talked about something called individuation, which is the process of becoming a complete, whole person. But he warned that this journey isn't to a straight line upward. It's more like a spiral path. Money, being one of the most emotionally charged topics in our culture, becomes like a mirror. It shows you everything about yourself that you haven't fully accepted or integrated yet. So if you having money problems while doing deep personal work, to think you failing, it is actually a sign that something important is happening. Your soul is reorganizing itself, and the old structures of your personality are breaking down. The version of yourself that relied on old patterns around money simply can continue this journey with you. But here is what most people don't realize, and what we'll explore more as we continue. There is a specific reason why spiritual growth and financial stability seem to exist in completely different worlds. And it has absolutely nothing to do with money itself. Before we go further, if you enjoy content that challenges you to think deeper about life and expand your understanding, make sure you subscribe. That way you want this powerful insights like these. Now let's discuss something that most motivational speakers and mindset coaches want. They tell you, your nervous system doesn't care about your ambitious goals and dreams. What it cares about is what feels familiar and predictable. You can meditate with healing crystals, repeat positive statements about wealth, and spend hours visualizing money flowing into your bank account. But if your body has learned to associate money with chaos and stress, your subconscious mind will block financial success like a security guard blocking entry to an exclusive club. This isn't to your mind trying to hurt you. It is trying to protect you. In the language of emotional trauma, familiar equals safe, even when familiar is actually harmful. Let's say you grew up in a house where money was always a source of anxiety. Bills got hidden from view, utilities were turned off for non-payment, and heated arguments broke out whenever someone spent money they shouldn't have. That stress doesn't just live in your memories. It lives in your physical body. It becomes the emotional template that your nervous system uses to determine what is normal and acceptable. So when the adult version of you decides, I am going to create financial abundance, there is a deeper part of you that responds with, hold on, this doesn't feel safe. We've never experienced this before. We need to back away. This is what I call the healing trap. The more you grow and expand as a person, the more your unhealed parts fight back, because growth feels dangerous to a nervous system that was trained to focus on survival. This is where Carl Jung's wisdom becomes incredibly valuable. He observed that you cannot become conscious and aware without experiencing some pain in the process. What does this mean for how you relate to money? It means your discomfort around financial matters might not actually be about the money at all. It might be about what money symbolizes to you. Things like power, being seen by others, taking on responsibility, having freedom, or losing what you already have. Perhaps having more money means breaking away from family patterns, becoming the successful one when everyone else in your family struggled financially. Maybe it means standing out in a way that makes you feel exposed and vulnerable. Maybe it means facing the deep belief that you don't deserve to have an easy life. This is what Jung called the shadow, the rejected, hidden aspects of who we are. The shadow doesn't just contain negative emotions like anger or shame. It also hides your positive qualities, your sense of worth, and your true capabilities. And it definitely hides your real relationship with money. This explains why doing healing work often creates financial chaos. This happens because the parts of yourself that desperately want to feel secure will automatically pick the familiar struggle over the unfamiliar success. Without even realizing it, you might skip following up on a promising business opportunity, charge way less than your work is worth, put off starting that project you've been planning, or find yourself exhausted all the time for no clear reason. This isn't about being lazy or unmotivated. What's really happening is your nervous system is telling you, let us stick with what we know. This is our comfort zone. That is why you read not damaged goods, and you read not someone who is just naturally bad at handling money. You simply running on an outdated set of instructions that is finally coming to the surface where you can see it. Here is where this gets really interesting and empowering. Your healing journey isn't to actually preventing abundance from coming into your life. Instead, it is revealing to you all the places where abundance was never allowed to feel safe in the first place. This is incredibly important and sacred work that you redoing. The way forward isn't to force yourself to push through these feelings and resistances. The real solution is to develop a friendship with your resistance, to slowly and gently teach your body to believe that new, better things are actually possible for you. Techniques like breathing exercises, body-based therapy, connecting with your inner child, and giving yourself permission to rest aren't just nice extras to add to your life. These are actual financial tools that will help you succeed. When your body finally starts to feel safe while you regrowing and expanding, money stops being something that scares you or triggers you. Instead, it becomes something you can work with as a partner. The truth is, many of the beliefs we carry around money don't even belong to us originally. These ideas were passed down to us, inherited from others, and absorbed into our systems like breathing in someone else's cigarette smoke. You never sat down one day and made a conscious decision to feel guilty when people give you things, to be afraid of becoming successful, or to be suspicious of wealthy people. That mental programming got installed in your mind long before you ever had your own bank account. Carl Jung had a name for this phenomenon. He called it the collective unconscious. a huge network of shared psychological patterns, stories, and emotional memories that influence how everyone sees and understands the world. This ISN is something that belongs only to you as an individual. It's something we all share and participate in. So if you've ever had the sense that your struggles with money go much deeper than just having bad spending habits or not knowing how to make a good budget, you're absolutely right about that. You might be carrying around the emotional baggage from your ancestors, experiences with not having enough, from a culture that treats wealthy people like they're evil and treats suffering like it's noble, from a society that says your value as a person depends on how productive you are and that resting makes you lazy. Let me paint a picture that might sound familiar to you. Imagine your grandparents lived through war, starvation, being forced from their homes, or other terrible hardships. They didn't have the luxury of trying to attract money through positive thinking. They had to work incredibly hard just to stay alive. They learned that money was difficult to earn, disappeared quickly, and couldn't to be relied upon. That pain and fear got passed down to the next generation, even without anyone talking about it directly. Then your parents grew up surrounded by that tension and stress, and they developed their own complicated relationship with money. Maybe they lived in constant fear about money, or maybe they went in the opposite direction and spent excessively, trying to avoid feeling the pain their parents felt. Either way, you grew up hearing messages, both spoken out loud and communicated in other ways. Messages like, we can't afford that, money doesn't grow on trees, rich people are selfish and greedy, be thankful for what you have and don't ask for more, and who do you think you are to want something better? Does any of this sound familiar to you? Those phrases became emotional patterns that got imprinted in your mind. You didn't just learn these beliefs intellectually. You absorbed them on an energetic level in your body and nervous system. Now, as an adult who is working on healing and personal growth, you're trying to completely change how you think and feel about money, while you're still carrying around generations worth of pain and struggle. Of course, it feels overwhelming and heavy. But here, it's the most important thing to understand. Becoming aware of these patterns is what sets you free. You believe that when we take what is hidden in our unconscious mind and bring it into the light of consciousness, we start to take back our personal power. That is how we stop these painful cycles from continuing, and that is how we become the person who breaks the pattern for everyone who comes after us. This work you redoing ISN is just about you and your own life. When you start healing your relationship with money, when you release the shame you've been carrying, when you allow yourself to experience ease, when you learn to trust that you're worthy of good things, you're not just doing this for the person you'll become in the future. You're doing this healing work for every version of yourself that has struggled, and for every person in your family line who came before you but never had the opportunity to heal these wounds. You're actually changing the emotional and spiritual atmosphere of your entire family lineage. You're rewriting the shared story that has been passed down for generations. And yes, this process is slow. It has many layers and brings up deep emotions. This is exactly why budgeting apps and financial planning software alone won't to solve your problems. You can use spreadsheets and calculators to heal wounds that go back generations. You have to actually feel these old emotions, allow yourself to grieve what was lost, and question the beliefs you inherited. Then, gradually and carefully, you choose new beliefs that match who you becoming, not who you were trained to be by your circumstances. So here we are at the end of this journey together, and I want you to take a deep breath. You just learned something that most people never figure out in their entire lives. The reason your money situation gets messy when you start healing ISN is because you broken or doing something wrong. It is because you finally strong enough to face the truth about what has been hiding in the shadows all along. Think about it this way. For years, maybe decades, you've been living your life on autopilot. You worked hard, paid your bills, and tried to get ahead, but something always felt off. You couldn't put your finger on it, but money never felt easy or natural. It was always a struggle, always stressful, always just out of reach. Then you started your healing work. Maybe you went to therapy, started meditating, began reading self-help books, or found a spiritual practice that spoke to your soul. And suddenly, All these old feelings and memories started bubbling up to the surface. Your nervous system began reacting to things that never bothered you before. Your energy shifted. Your whole world started changing from the inside out. But your bank account, that started looking worse, not better. Opportunities dried up. Income dropped. Bills piled up. And you probably thought to yourself, what am I doing wrong? Why is this happening to me now, when I'm finally trying to get my life together? Here, it's what I need you to understand with every fiber of your being. This is not punishment. This is not the universe testing you or making you pay for past mistakes. This is your soul clearing out decades of old programming so you can finally step into who you were meant to be. Remember what Carl Jung taught us. He said that everything we push down into our unconscious mind will eventually run our lives from behind the scenes. All those childhood messages about money being scarce, dangerous, or evil didn't just disappear when you became an adult. They went underground and started controlling your decisions without you even knowing it. Your parents' fear about never having enough became your fear. Your grandparents' trauma from losing everything became your trauma. Your culture, this weird relationship with wealth and success, became your relationship. You've been carrying around other people, this money stories your entire life, thinking they were your own. But now you reawake. Now you can see what has been happening. And that awareness is the first step toward freedom. Here, the beautiful truth that changes everything. You have to stay stuck in these old patterns forever. The fact that you having money problems during your healing journey is a sign that you failing. It is actually proof that the healing is working. Your unconscious mind is finally bringing up all the stuff that has been blocking your abundance so you can deal with it once and for all. Think of it like cleaning out a house that has been packed with junk for 50 years. When you first start the process, everything looks worse before it looks better. There are boxes everywhere, dust flying around, and you can barely walk through the rooms. But you not making a mess. You revealing the mess that was already there, hidden underneath surfaces. That is exactly what is happening with your money situation right now. All the fear, shame, and limiting beliefs about wealth are coming up to be healed. Your nervous system is learning that it is safe to want more, to receive good things, and to trust that abundance is possible for someone like you. This process takes time, and it is not always comfortable. Some days you will feel like you taking 2 steps backward for every step forward. You will catch yourself falling back into old patterns of scarcity thinking or self-sabotage. You might even start to doubt whether this healing stuff is worth it. But I promise you, it is worth it, because on the other side of this process is a version of yourself who doesn't just survive, you thrive. You become someone who can receive money without guilt, who can pursue opportunities without fear, who can build wealth without losing your soul in the process. The key is to be patient and gentle with yourself during this transition. Your body and mind are literally rewiring themselves after years of operating from fear and limitation. That doesn't happen overnight. It happens one small breakthrough at a time, one moment of choosing love over fear, one decision to trust yourself instead of listening to the old voices in your head. Start small. Practice receiving compliments without deflecting them. Let someone buy you coffee without insisting on paying them back immediately. Charge what your work is actually worth instead of what you think people can afford. Apply for that job or start that business even if your inner critic is screaming that you were not qualified. Each time you do something that your old programming says is dangerous or impossible, you reteaching your nervous system that it is safe to expand. You reproving to yourself that you can handle more money, more success, and more abundance without losing who you are or hurting anyone else. Remember, this journey I said, just about you. When you heal your relationship with money, you re-breaking generational patterns that have been passed down through your family for decades, maybe centuries. You re-changing the story for your children, your grandchildren, and everyone who comes after you. You not just building wealth, you rebuilding a legacy of healing. You reproving that it is possible to be spiritual and successful, conscious and wealthy, healed and abundant. You re-showing the world that money can be a tool for good when it is in the hands of someone who has done the inner work. So keep going, keep healing, keep growing, keep choosing love over fear, expansion over contraction, possibility over limitation. Your breakthrough is coming, and when it does, you'll be ready for it. Because you, well, finally know, deep in your bones, that you deserve every good thing that comes your way. Your healing journey and your money story done. They have to be at war with each other. They can work together to create the life you always dreamed of. A life where you're not just financially free, but emotionally free, spiritually free, and completely, authentically yourself. That's the real abundance. And it is waiting for you. What do you think? Is there really a connection between spiritual growth and temporary financial struggle? Debate respectfully in the comments. If you found this video useful, please like it and subscribe to the channel. There are more videos on this channel that will help you become a better version of yourself.